Alright, so we've got another example here. Evaluate the 6 trig functions of the real number, 3 pi halves. So there's a couple of different ways again to think of this. 3 pi halves is a distance around the unit circle, or it's also an angle. And again, that works on the unit circle because it has a radius 1. If you set up with our relationship from the other day, s equals r theta, or theta equals s over r. And so because r is a 1, it works out really nice. Basically, s equals theta. So let's go ahead and do this, very similar to our previous example, except now we're going to bring in those other 3 trig functions we haven't used really yet, okay? But we want to familiarize ourselves with them. So 3 pi halves, let's find that on the unit circle. Of course, we go all the way, it's pointed straight down here, it's 270 degrees. And so sine, I'll just go in order here. So sine of 3 pi halves, remember what we look at there? Well, it's going to be the y value, right? So it's just -1. Cosine of 3 pi halves then is the x value. It's 0 in this case. And tangent of 3 pi halves. Okay, now we think about that one. Well, it's undefined because we do our y value over our x value. And so this one is actually undefined. I'll just leave it like that. Now, sine, cosine, tangent. Those are the big 3. Let's do those other ones. We've got cosecant, secant, and cotangent. So those are reciprocals of these 3. So once you find the big 3, the other ones are easy. They're simply reciprocals. And here's what I like to talk about. I think I already mentioned it in a previous slide. How do you tell what goes with what? Well, no two cos go together. That's what I like to say to myself. So sine goes with cosecant, cosine goes with secant, and tangent goes with cotangent. Those two really make sense. But so let's do this one. So cosecant of 3 pi halves, well, it's just the reciprocal. Well, what's the reciprocal of -1? It's still -1. Not too bad. So secant of 3 pi halves, well, what's the reciprocal of 0? So we got to be a little careful here. That is undefined. And now what's the cotangent of 3 pi halves? Well, this one was undefined, right? Remember, it was -1 over 0. Now it's 0 over -1. So cotangent is actually going to be 0. So go to your unit circle, find the values. Remember, sine is the y values, cosine the x, tangent's the ratio y to x, and then cosecant, secant, cotangent are simply the reciprocals of those.